Anyway, a bunch of things to talk about today. You know what I mean? I don't feel like bashing what people eat, the garbage that people do eat, the blood and starch that they do eat every day, multiple times a day, and end up needing 8 hours of sleep and end up waking up feeling terrible, stiffen up after they work out, things of that nature. But I'm talking about what to eat today. And, well, first I'm going to start off like what I eat a lot of. I eat for like my protein replacement. I eat a lot of quinoa. Quinoa is, it's the mother grain, as the Incas would say years ago. They've been growing it probably since for as long as that shit's been around, as long as people been around. So, and wild rice, black rice. Native Americans have been growing that since they've been in North America, or the land that is now called North America. So, yeah, those are like 2 grains off top for you. And I'm about to regurgitate for a second, right? It's funny, right? But hey, you can either try it and experience it, or you can just keep on doing what you've been conditioned to do and keep being sick, man. Die at 70, suffering too. To die 20 years of arthritic pains is a suffering death. Just to let you guys know that is a suffering death. To die bent over, bad hips, all that type of shit, that's a suffering death. Dying at 70, dying at 70 in general, you're dying too young. And if you're not dying in your sleep, you didn't die of natural causes. Anybody that knows anything about the brain, or just Google or YouTube search DMT, dimethyltryptamine. It gets released at birth, death, near-death experiences, when you go to sleep, when you're during heavy REM sleep. It's kind of what happens. It's what happens when you die. So yeah, you should die in your sleep. That's natural causes. That's how people should die, and their energy should transcend. Because I don't believe in a soul. It's just an energy occupying this human vehicle, and then it transcends into something else. I'm not gonna act like I know exactly what it transcends into, or what the other planes of existence are, or how many of them there are. I'm just saying that makes more sense than the bullshit you've been taught, conditioned to believe. And that's another thing. I don't believe anything. Either I know or I don't know. But like I said, I'm going to regurgitate real quick. Bear with me, because I hate regurgitation too. But try these foods out to replace the garbage that you have been eating. Yeah, don't use a microwave ever. Imagine if somebody put you in a microwave, what would happen? It's radiation. It's not good. It's not good for your food. It's going to kill your food. And, no canned or seedless fruit. None of that. You don't want anything. Everything that exists in nature has a seed to reproduce itself. Humans, like I said, have a seed to reproduce themselves. They existed in they're a naturally occurring being. Entity, whatever you want to call it. But as far as vegetables go, amaranth greens, also known as callaloo. Avocados, asparagus, bell peppers, chayote, which is a form of squash, South American squash. Cucumbers, dandelion greens, they're great. Dandelion greens and dandelion root is great for you. If you want chickpeas, you can make some great garbanzo burgers out of some chickpeas. Izote is a cactus, very accessible if you're in California like me. Jicama, kale, all the leafy greens you'll find, they're not going to damage you. The only ones that are really going to nourish you are dandelion and lamb's quarters, but none of them are really going to damage you. You'll at least get chlorophyll out of any of the greens if you eat them raw. Or if you, boil them, however you do them. Either way, just the greens are good. So, lettuce, except iceberg. Mushrooms, except shiitake mushrooms. Mustard greens, like I said, all greens. Nopales, Mexican cactus. Okra. Olives, I love olives. Onions, red onion is probably the more hue in the food too is probably the better for you. The more you're gonna get out of the more nutrients you're gonna get out of the food. Poke salad is just more greens. Sea vegetables, wakame, dulce, arame, hijiki, nori. I would eat these things, definitely organic, but now after the nuclear shit in Japan, watch all the things that are coming from Japan in those waters. I don't know if I would trust it. Maybe if you want to, roll them dice. Squash, pumpkins, butternut squash, you know, squash pie. It's great. Fuck with the squash. Spinach used sparingly. Again, it's another leafy green. String beans, if you will. Tomatoes, but only cherry and plum tomatoes. I wouldn't use any other tomato. Tomatillo, turnip greens, another form of green, and zucchini, which is just another squash. Apples, bananas. If you can find burro bananas, that'd be the best, or the smallest ones. Berries, except for cranberries. Anything that needs the aid of man to exist is not naturally occurring. It's unnatural. It's artificial. Like white rice or any rice that's not black. You need patties to create this rice. And man needs to be there for this to even exist. Same thing with cows. Artificial insemination from a bull to keep a cow on this planet. Or chickens. You need a rooster to fertilize. So, you know, it's not, you know, that's why it's only female chickens. It's only female cows. There's, you know what I mean? Like, it's a human and it's a male and female human. You see, like, it's not the same with the cow, the chicken, or the pig is just a genetic manipulation of a boar, other things of that nature. So yeah, you got all berries except for cranberries because they're made out of bogs. And I for one, I know the slave master side of my family, they own a bunch of cranberry bog farms in Vincenttown, New Jersey, and they had slaves up until the 1890s. So that kind of destroys the Emancipation Proclamation theory that slavery ended. No, slave trading ended, and then even that didn't even end because people still did it. They just did it more on the hush hush because, you know, they could face fines and things, but they still would do it. So yeah, slavery didn't really end until like the 1890s because they kept the children of slaves up until they were 18 for a while, and they kept breeding them so that they would keep having kids until the point where it just got too taboo. Cantaloupe, cherries, currants, dates. I love dates. Figs, seeded grapes if you can find them. Limes, key limes with seeds if you can find them. Mangoes, seeded melons. If you can find a Seville orange, because the orange that you have now is a manipulated orange to have a tougher, thicker rind so it don't bruise before it go to market. So if you can find a Seville, or the smallest, sourest orange you can find, is probably the closest to the mother, the natural orange. So papayas, peaches, pears, plums, prunes, seeded raisins, soft jelly coconut, all coconuts really, because coconuts are naturally occurring. Soursops, Latin or West Indian markets. Sugar apples, also known as cherimoya. And that's another thing with potatoes too. You don't want to eat any of the larger, like a russet potato, those white starchy potatoes, because that's just further away from the mother. The original potato or tuber plant that was labeled a potato was found in Peru by the Irish. The Irish came across the Atlantic, landed in Peru, did a lot of research there, and they took this plant that they called it the red rose. It was a smaller red tuber plant that the Inca, the Maya, all the Aztecs, they were all eating. And well, these are all sub-tribes of the Olmecs. Olmecs were the first to be in South America. They were Negroid, meaning they were black. Those were the first people of South America, and they birthed the South American nations. That's why there's pyramids down there, and yeah, you get it. So yeah, Native American is half black and half Mongoloid. Anyway, all herbal teas, allspice, anise, chamomile, cloves, fennel, ginger, lemongrass, raspberry tea. For spices and seasonings, you got basil, bay leaf, cilantro, dill, marjoram, oregano, savory, sweet basil, thyme, pungent and spicy flavors. Cayenne, cumin, coriander, onion powder, sage, salty flavors, pure sea salt, powdered granulated seaweed, kelp, dulce, nore, as that sea taste though. I would just go with the sea salt. Or if you can find rock salt, like pink or yellow rock salt, that'd be like the next best thing. For sweet flavors, go with the 100% pure maple syrup, none of that Aunt Jemima bullshit. Grade B would be recommended. Maple sugar from dried maple syrup, date sugar from dried dates, or 100% pure agave, which is my shit. It's multiple flavors of the agave too. They got maple, hazelnut, raspberry, blueberry. It's the shit. Agave is that shit. Replace that crack, the sugar cane, with that agave. For nuts and seeds, they also have butters too. Almond butter, almonds, raw sesame seeds, and then sesame butter will be tahini butter, walnuts and walnut butter. And then for your milks, you got coconut milk. You can go with the almond milk. I'd rather just do coconut or hemp milk. Or I would do hazelnut milk too. Hazelnut's cool too. Yep. So for your grains, your alkaline-based grains instead of your starch bullshit grains like corn, wheat, and all that bullshit. For your alkaline grains, you want to go with amaranth, another South American grain that the Incas ate and the Aztecs ate. Black rice, like I said, kamut, which is from Africa, quinoa, which is also from South America, rye, spelt, teff, and yeah, all these things can be found at Whole Foods or natural foods places. I would say that's your best bet at getting healthy. And if you eat these type of foods in a dormant state, your body is going to be able to burn calories, so the fat, you won't be able to even be fat. So yeah, vegans, motherfucker.